Hi, I am Shadab Akhtar Rabbani, and today we'll go through some memorable moments at the Sydney Cricket Ground. After a remarkable win at Melbourne, India go into the Sydney Test looking to script history by winning their first Test series down under. The Indian cricket team doesn't boast a splendid record at the SCG with just one win from 11 Test matches. The Australians have won 5 of them and the other 5 have ended in a draw, but some of the individual performances have caught the eye over the decades. The last time India played here was in 2014 when the match ended in a draw. Incidentally, it was also Virat Kohli's first Test match as the captain after MS Dhoni retired midway into the series. Unfazed by the pressure of being on the hot seat, Virat went on to score 147 runs in the first innings. Sydney is also infamous for the Harbhajan-Simons Monkeygate episode during the 2007-2008 tour. It saw the Indian off-spinner get suspended for 3 matches for an alleged racial slur against Simons, although it was later lifted. The match was marred by some shocking umpiring decisions that resulted in umpire Steve Buckner being replaced by the ICC for the next Test match at Perth. Interestingly, Sachin Tendulkar scored an unbeaten 154 runs in the first innings. The match looked to be heading towards a draw, but with just minutes to spare, Michael Clarke grabbed 3 wickets in an over to hand Australia a 122-run victory. Andrew Symonds was adjudged the man of the match for his all-round performance. Sydney has been a happy hunting ground for Sachin. During 2003-2004, he scored an unbeaten 241 runs as India piled up 707 for 7 declared, with VVS Lakshman playing the perfect foil with a well-made 178 runs. Sachin's brilliant innings came after a disastrous tour where he had managed only 82 runs, including 2 ducks from 5 innings. Having been caught behind repeatedly during the entire series, he did not even play a single cover drive during the entire innings and kept shouldering the arms to the balls pitched outside the off stump. The match turned out to be a high-scoring encounter ending in a draw as Australia responded with 474. This was also the last match of Australian captain Steve Waugh's illustrious career. During the 1999-2000 tour, India lost the Sydney Test by an innings and 141 runs, but what stood out was Lakshman's 167 runs, which was also his maiden Test century. Interestingly, Lakshman had scored 64% of the runs as India had scored only 261 runs in the second innings. VVS Lakshman has termed it his career-defining moment as it gave him belief that he belonged to the international stage. In the 1991-1992 series, the Sydney Test saw the legendary spinner Shane Warne make his debut, but it was the one to forget. Warne was hammered to all parts of the ground as he returned with dismal figures of 1 for 150 from his 45 overs. His only victim was Ravi Shastri, who had already scored 206 runs, which is also his highest ever Test score. Tendulkar, who was then 19, scored an unbeaten 148 and became the youngest man to score a Test century in Australia. India's lone success at Sydney came 41 years ago, and it was a thumping win by an innings and 2 runs. Electing to bat first, Australia were bowled out for 131 runs from 49.4 overs. In reply, India scored 396 for 8 declared and took a 265-run lead. Gundappa Vishwanath top scored for India with a well-made 79 runs, and tail-ender Carson Gowrie chipped in with 64. In their second innings, Australia could manage only 263 runs. The spin trio of Bedi, Prasanna and Chandra were the destroyers-in-chief, taking 16 wickets between them in the match. Sydney was also the venue where Indians gave Don Bradman's all-conquering side a scare during the 1947-48 tour. Though India lost the series 4-0, but they managed to draw the Sydney Test after bowling out the Australians for 107 runs in a rain-affected game. Don Bradman was out cheaply after being castled by Vijay Hazare for 13. History beckons at Sydney this week as Kohli's men seek to become the first Indian side in 71 years to defeat Australia at their own backyard. With Kohli, Cheteshwar and Jasprit at the top of their game, let's see if India can conquer the final frontier.